Minecraft prisons are one of the most impressive pieces of technical Minecraft. They consider every block, mob, feature, or bug to remove the freedom from a game all about having freedom. But they're also kind of stupid. They use exploits that could be patched any update, guards more dedicated than a father search for milk, and realistically, they're impossible to build. Alternatively, they're traps more than prisons. They work, but they're not imprisoning the player. They're just not letting them play at all. So am I going to somehow design something better than all that? No, but computers are able to calculate things humans could never, so I'm just gonna make a program that does it for me. And this isn't AI clickbait like, hey ChatGPT, how do I imprison my friends in Minecraft? Why do you want to know? You have no friends. Oh, this prison is impossible to escape, doesn't need any guards, allows you to have and use any of these items, uses no bugs or exploit, takes less than an hour to build in a new world, and for someone else to save you, they would literally have to sacrifice their PC. Before we get started, it's important to take a look at prison history to understand what went wrong and what we should avoid. Prisons started simple, but the player is too powerful. So, prisons updated. Walls got stronger and stronger, they healed themselves, they even got smarter. But the player always won. There's a finite amount of things a wall can deal with, but prison makers kept pushing it. And these complicated machines grew too big for their own good. They were like your mom. The systems intended to make a prison safe were being used against themselves. Redstone wires turned into tunnels, bugs kept getting patched, and even the community worked against each other. There's a thing in engineering. The best piece is no piece. Redundancy sounds nice, but a system with backups can still fail. A system that doesn't exist can't. This prison works so well because it's simple. So what is this amazing design nobody's thought of before? You've actually already seen it a dozen times in thumbnails, a bedrock box.
Actually, you said no bugs or exploits, and getting and breaking bedrock aren't intended features.
Hear me out before judging. The reason this prison is so cool is because it doesn't use any of these bugs to build a prison.
Oh great, you're trapping players in grove-hide wither cages. I'm sure that's more fun than armor stand spam.
No, this prison is spacious. So how is this even possible, and if we already know what the design is, where does the computer calculated part come from? Here's the plan. The reason it doesn't need any bug or exploit, and the reason why it's so easy to build, is because the game generates the prison for you. Specifically, like a wither cage, we're looking for a piece of the bedrock floor that by pure chance naturally generates a prison. But unlike the very abundant 1x1s, we're looking for a spacious prison. Here's where the computer comes in. Large prisons are rare, but Minecraft worlds are large. Specifically, 3.6 quadrillion blocks large. This means more prisons, but also makes it impossible for a human to search unassisted. So, let's get to it. The first part of the program is pretty simple. We need to be able to predict bedrock generation. That shouldn't be too hard, we just have to take it from Minecraft's source code. But I've never worked with it, and it would probably take me a month to learn it and do it myself. Someone that has experience though could probably do it in a couple hours. I mean, how hard can it be to copy and paste something from one place to another? The first person I thought to ask was Emmett. If you're new to my channel, he's a much more experienced programmer that's helped me out before. He also has experience making mods, and I mean, how hard can it be to copy and paste something from... So I called him, but he couldn't do it. If he can't help me, my wallet could try. I went on Fiverr and found a modder with a 5-star rating and sent him an offer. This should be easy for him, so of course he'll help me out. After all, how hard can it be to copy and paste? See, he accepted the offer. We're fine. He cancelled the offer. We're not fine. That's actually not a big deal. There's plenty more modders on this website, so I messaged another 5-star modder and offered him easy money. Easy money because how hard can it be to copy? He couldn't do it. This other guy says he'll put in 100% of his effort. That shouldn't even be necessary. How hard? He couldn't do it. This was clearly not working. I needed to find someone that had experience with world generation, not programming. So I had an idea. You've probably used Chunkbase at some point. In case you haven't, it's a website that concentrates on predicting world generation. The developer of this should be the perfect person. I reached out, and just in case, I also reached out to the creator of a very similar website. They would definitely be able to do it. However, I'm not familiar with Java programming. But like, how do you make your website? Regardless, he was very helpful indicating me where in the source code I could find generation, but it turns out it's not just copy and paste. At least there's still chunk-based guy. He never responded. It's time I come clean. To find the people from here on out, I had to do the unthinkable. I was forced to do something no man should, but I had no choice. I had to look further than the second page of Google results. I understand this might be shocking for some people. I understand you have to dislike and unsubscribe, but I'm ready to earn your forgiveness. So I found this forum where someone was showcasing exactly what I need. The only problem is that it's for 1.8, where bedrock generation was completely different. I messaged him and hoped he could update it. It turns out I have the power to make people disappear just by asking for help. This was getting demoralizing until I realized I can destroy my greatest enemy just by sending them an email. But just as I was about to do that, I received a notification. He can't do it. Okay, this part of the video has gone on for too long, so let me condense a month and a half into a single scene. Mika.dev, the savior of this video. Not only did he adapt the program he had into what I needed in a single day, but he was very nice about it. And a quick mention and a link would be more than enough? Okay, links everywhere. Links on screen, link in the description, link replying to the guy that keeps sending me kisses. Wait, what? Jokes aside, thank you Mika and everyone I reached out to. I'll put links to everyone that has something linkable in the description. Show them some support. Now it was my turn. My part of the code had to do two things: figure out what's a prison and be fast. So what exactly are we considering a prison? To put it simply, a flat floor with 2 block high walls. Since the list of allowed items doesn't include anything to build or jump over with, there's nothing the player can really do. But only looking for walls like this is very wasteful. Instead, the program needs to be able to recognize any of these as a wall. Once we know which are walls, we look for areas that are surrounded by them, but we're not done yet. We need to make sure there aren't any random blocks that could be used to escape. So how does the program do this, and how does it do it fast enough? Well, in just 3 simple steps. Generate the bedrock floor and figure out what's a wall, air, or escape hazard. This should be easy if we didn't care about optimization. Just tell the program if it sees one of these, it's a wall. Instead, we're going to use a bit of human logic to speed this up. How exactly? We implement society. Or in other words, have height preferences. Like block -62. I mean, look at him, so attractive, just because he's slightly above average height. He's literally 6 feet tall. That makes him objectively better. Well, that and the fact that if there's bedrock at this height, we know this space is a wall regardless of the other blocks, allowing us to skip checks and improve performance. Compare that to -63. Like, come on, he's clearly evil. Look at how short he is. And, well, the fact that he's the difference between a usable airspace and a potential hazard space. Finally, there's -61. He goes last because he's so tall, we're not worried about losing him in the crowd while checking the others. That, and because he's the difference between an escape and another wall. Using this checking process, known as flowcharts, makes the program multiple times faster. It's obvious that a safe space isn't safe if it doesn't stop you from getting to an escape. So we basically have to treat the hazard spaces like a bucket tool. How do we program that? It's actually with something we all can't resist doing in-game. Recursion. Don't worry, I'm not playing a weird version of the game. You've experienced it as floating sand falling. When a floating block of sand is updated, it falls. But it also updates all the surrounding blocks. And if those are also sand, they also fall. And the process repeats. That's almost exactly what recursion is, or at least the type of recursion this program is using. At this point, we just have to check which prisons are large enough and write out the coordinates. We can also do this with recursion, just that this time we keep track of how much metaphorical sand falls. And that's it. It works, and it can scan millions of blocks per second. Programming is actually pretty simple if you look at it from the right perspective. Before I show the program and prison in action, which, trust me, is cooler than just... Let me explain why other people can't save you. Let's play a game. Spot the typical Minecraft prison. Now try to spot my prison. Yeah, not going to happen. Nobody's coming to save you because nobody knows where you are. But I know what you're thinking. You think I'm stupid because coordinates are a thing. But here's the ace up my sleeve. This prison is so simple it works both on Java and Bedrock versions of the game. And in Bedrock Edition, showing coordinates is considered cheating. Fun fact, I haven't played Bedrock Survival for the past 8 years. And somehow, I spent 2 months talking to people and programming without ever thinking I should double check this fact. It wasn't until I was writing this very script I found out Mojang made coordinates legal back in 2018. How was I supposed to know Mojang would do what the community asked them? They've never done that before. I was honestly devastated. I was considering just scrapping the video because it felt like I just clickbaited all of you, but at least now you can learn from my mistakes. I do still have one more strategy to stop outside help in the latest version of the game, but it's not as impressive. Regardless, as I've said in a previous video, just because something doesn't work well, it doesn't mean we can't have fun. So, I'm still proud to present Talos' Prison, an inescapable prison even with outside help in the latest version of Minecraft Xbox One Edition. Just roll the showcase.